This video is not for people who want to know how ENTPs behave, okay? This is for people who want to understand why we behave the way we do. This video is for those of you that already know about cognitive functions and what they mean. So if you don't know what extroverted feeling is, for example, this video will be so confusing to you. If you enjoy being confused and you don't know what cognitive functions are, go ahead and keep watching. Now, for today's video, let's call it if you actually want to understand ENTPs, or if you really want to understand ENTPs. Trying to understand ENTPs, question mark. Something of that nature. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this, particularly me, I am an ENTP. I've tried to say that I wasn't quite a few times. I still wonder if I'm not. Would love to hear your theories, but this video in particular, you know, I have to be subjective. I can't tell you about all ENTPs all the way. But I can tell you more about all ENTPs than probably other types can, other than maybe NTJs, but that's only if you speak their language way more than you speak our language, and that would only work because you don't understand us explaining ourselves at all. So, yeah, for those of you who are like that, sorry, it's probably not possible for you to totally understand us, but for those of you that are compatible with us, or maybe INTPs might be able to get close. So I'll be trying to be very informative. There will be lots of jump cuts if you haven't already noticed, because sometimes I accidentally turn the video off with my SE demon. Also, I tend to speak out of order sometimes. So, the reason I'm doing this, I had a conversation with a couple intelligent people today. Very grateful for that conversation. And my kitty cat, her face was so awkward. Hey. Oh, she's mad. Are you mad? Using my extroverted feeling, you can go. Okay, so now it's really hard to get to the point for me. I'm sorry. Okay, so now this is something that happened today. Somebody was saying that they believe something, but they don't think it to be true, but they choose to believe it, but they know it's false, or they know that it could be false. And it's not even pertaining to religion, which is why I got so triggered, because I'm like, at least with religion I can expect that. But, this is with everything. And, this happens to be someone I'm very close to, but, I'm trying to explain myself to them, right? And not just myself. Like, the way the ENTP mind works, you can't really explain it without going through the different attitudes of the different facets of life based on what we're more and less aware of. Actually, maybe we're more and less aware of things because of our attitudes about them. And that one might be more likely to be true. But I was like, you choose to say you believe it so your life can be simple and people don't give you crap about it, but you're being dishonest, and you always talk about wanting to be honest. This is an INTJ, if you're curious. Half the time you're being dishonest with yourself, and half the time you're being dishonest with others, if that's what you're doing. And they just linked me, a source. And that's for something else we were talking about. If I'm talking about you, like, hopefully you don't get mad. But, anyway, it was like, now I know that I use my TI and TE in a similar way to this. And, well, mostly because that's how TI and TE work. Extroverted thinking, man. I only use it because I have to. If I didn't use extroverted thinking, I'd be in trouble. Okay? But that doesn't mean that I actually think that the extroverted thinking things are actually true. And here I explain it. But at least I don't say I believe stuff that I don't think to be true. Okay? So I don't say I believe blah 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 unless I'm pretty sure it's true. Like that it's more likely to be true than not. And the thing with ENTPs is, okay, this video is not for people who want to know how ENTPs behave, okay? This is for people who want to understand why we behave the way we do, okay? I don't say I believe in anything, hardly ever, because I don't. And the reason I don't really is because to me belief, the definition of belief is to think something to be true. So if I don't think it's true, I'm not gonna say I believe it. Not only that, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't believe crap, basically. But I use my TE, and here's how I use my TE. To recognize what most people think, especially in my culture and the people I interact with day to day, to determine how I should act given my current society structure surrounding me. But, there's always a but, TI and TE with FE, so the three of those together, is the only way that it seems that I can really get myself to do FI things, introverted feeling things, like stand up for myself in a situation. So, I guess you could just use TI and FE, but it really just works if I use all three of them. Without TI, it is super impossible. Then I'll just be using FE or FE and TE. If I don't use my TI, I won't recognize that I don't think those things. If I'm just using my TE critic, I'll be like, well, everybody thinks this. And if I don't stop to think about, get your butt out of my face. If I don't stop to think about whether I think it's true or not, then even though I'm critical about that thing, and I hate that people think that way, I'll still think that way. So I do have to have the introverted time to actually question, do I think that's true? Or, anyway. So that can be, I'm trying to explain FI trickster here. Okay. TITE, FE, able to use FI in the way that I can stand up for myself. I do have to use 3 functions for that. Yeah, so because that's 3 functions, instead of just 1 function, I can get really, really exhausted. I can get really exhausted from just standing up for myself when it comes to judgment. I can stand up for truth really easily, but when it comes to, this person that is, extending their arm in front of themselves, it takes a lot more mental power because it's weird. NE hero is like, we're so far out there that we hardly ever even think of the subjective because the objective is way more interesting to us and more important because there's way more of it. And the subjective is just our little life, and add TI parent to that, and that is total disregard for this personal self. Like, other than our body, because we have SI inferior, we'll take care of our body if we're healthy enough, but, and it's funny, we'll only be healthy enough if we take care of our body. So, unlike ENFPs, we struggle to remember that we are worth something, that we are worth something. We'll be like, yeah, ENTPs are worth a lot. But if you ask us and you use our first name and you're like, is that person worth much? And we'll be like, I don't know. How much am I worth? I really don't know, and I don't think I want to know. Because then you put a number on your life. You know, how much gold am I worth? How much money am I? And in capitalism, it gets way too literal. Is it capitalism or materialism where it gets too literal? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're an ENTP, let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree, how you're different, how you're the same, or even if you used to be the same and now you're different. Or if any of this makes any sense at all. Or if you don't think I'm an ENTP, you could you could say that too. Yes. So we do need somebody to stand up for us a lot of the time, because it takes us way too much energy to do that for ourselves all the time. So to me, introverted thinking, when I think about it, it's not what's true outside of myself. It's really just what's true within myself that I know to be true. Because it's responsible introverted thinking. I realize that just because I think something is true doesn't mean it is. But if it's about myself, then I'm more likely to be correct about whether it's true or not. Like, as if, like, you know, my mental process. I'm more likely to be aware of my mental process than people outside of my mental process. That's why I need TE. That's why ENTPs need to use their TE. Because even though we don't really trust TE on its own, which is also why we need TE, we need, or not TE, NE. We need NE because it's the only way that we're ever prepared for anything. It's the only way we're ever prepared, because we're prepared for everything. And if we're not prepared for everything, we'll probably be prepared wrong, because we're so critical about TE, even though we're aware of it, that we can go back and forth between, you know, acting in accordance with it at the wrong time and not acting in accordance with it at the wrong time. So we prepare for everything mentally. We don't necessarily prepare for everything physically. So that's what we need help with. We really do need SE in our life, and that has to come from other people. We really do need FI in our life, and that has to come from other people who truly value us, so that they do feel compelled to identify with us and stand up for us when, you know, I can't even really say a circumstance because there's just too many. But we really don't want to be the ultimate doormat. It just takes a lot of energy sometimes. Other times, though, when we're in a good place, like, you can't. So it's interesting. I work with children, so I know, like, I work with children in my element, where I have a lot of experience. So I know that when my TI knows what it's talking about, my TE knows what it's talking about, and, of course, my FE is pretty much always on. Nothing gets past me in my classroom. if it looks like it gets past me, that's because I've decided it's not worth acting like I noticed. But, yeah. Let me know if that's helpful at all. Hopefully these jump cuts don't interrupt, like, you seeing my stream of consciousness order. But it sucks because if you really see my stream of consciousness order, it will be less easy for people to understand. Like, I don't know. Anyway. I think I'm going to edit this so that it's a little bit easier to understand. If you guys want me to make another video without ever cutting it, just to show, like, the way an ENTP brain... The way an the way an ENTP brain kind of works, if you want to see that, then, let me know and I'll do an uncut video, but I like the jump cuts. They're an easy way to stay less boring and kind of put things in order for you guys a little bit more. Hopefully I got to the point. Hopefully I came full circle. Sometimes I don't. We will see. Okay.